Hey guys, 5022 Freedom here. Look, I'll say start off with this. It is like incredibly hard to mash that play button or the record button on this phone. Uh, just, I don't know. So, what I just wanted to kind of share with y'all some things I've been looking at. Um, Now, the last 2 days, I've just really poured through. I've got my laptop open here. Like old world buildings, man, this stuff is mind numbing. I mean, there's no other way to say it. These buildings, the amount of uh, design and craftsmanship that went into some of these buildings is just insane, man. And I can tell you as a builder, we don't have time for that. I've done a lot of finished carpentry, and it's just amazing to look at this stuff. I mean, the interior, the exterior, it's so worth going and looking at this stuff. Looking at the World's Fairs buildings that, I mean, the stories are just stupid, dude. How these things, they build this one up in, I guess it's somewhere in France or whatever, in 19 or 1850 something, and this thing is almost 1 million square foot. I think it's the Crystal Palace, maybe, and it takes them about 10 months to build it. 66,000 panes of glass. They come in on horse and buggy and build this thing in 10 months. They celebrate there for a little, for however long the fair went on. Then they decide, well, let's just tear it down and move it. We're going to move it somewhere else. So they move it. And then about 3 or 4 months later, the thing just burns down. I think they had multiple Crystal Palaces they wanted to get rid of, is what I think. And I think that's the name of that one. But anyway, so I'm just going to keep it going here. Old world buildings, we got... I wanted to say this. Now I'm doing this on my phone. I've set up my laptop to maybe start to do some work from there. Really similar, I guess, to what Leaving Babylon and some of the other guys are doing. So that'll be interesting to try to do. Let's see, where do I want to go? What about the Northern Lights, you guys? Was that something impressive or what? We were just sitting in the backyard here, and man, we look up and the sky is just red. It's just like, wow, this is crazy, And there's a lot of this, about the sun and, opening up and frequencies and whatever, all this solar radiation rays and everything. But man, the most impressive part about all that is everybody getting to see those northern lights. They want us looking to the Middle East right now, and man, I'm more inclined to wonder what's in the north, because that was a spectacle, man. I seen pictures of people in Moses Lake, Washington, up there where I lived, and took pictures, and it's like I would have loved to have been there to seen that. The Northern Lights is definitely something I want to see. Keep your eyes on the north, not the Middle East. Okay, so I did a little thing. I started out yesterday, and I didn't really know where to go with it. I had this house here not too far from where I live, and I was doing some electrical work in this home, and a few other things, just some little reconstruction stuff on it. This is a little mansion. It's really only, I think it's like 3,000 to 4,000, maybe 4,000 square foot, but it has a lot of this detail in it. Now whether it's an old world building, I'm not real sure. I don't know, man. Just crazy. But I worked in that place. Not even. I mean, it was spectacular to look at the amount of craftsmanship in there. So that's where I started yesterday. I was looking at that, and I was like, well, where do you want to go when do you want to study so many different things? But one that's kind of been on my mind is the Emerald Mound in Natchez, Mississippi. It's not too far from where I'm at, and I thought, well, maybe I'll go down there and check this thing out or something. And really, I want to know what they've buried under these mounds, and so I kind of went down that track yesterday, and I found some pretty neat stuff. But I put a bid together, and the bid was based on what kind of money and time would be involved in building a structure like the Emerald Mound. This thing is 770 foot by 435 foot. At the base, it's 35 foot high. It's huge. It's like over 3 football fields long, I guess. And if you convert all that into square yardage, what you get is 434,194 square yards of dirt. And I mean, it's kind of a rough estimate because the sides kind of come up like that a little bit. So anyway, what I've got here on that number, the 434,000 square yards. And I was talking to a buddy the other day that he works for the county, and those dump trucks are about 8 yards a load. So if you had to move 434,000 yards at 8 yards a truck, that's 54,274 loads. That's a lot. I worked on a road crew one time, and we took out a considerable hill, and we just moved this hill, to level the road out, and we took it to another hill, and the guy spread it out across this open clear cut, and there was two excavators running the whole time. We worked from daylight to dark, and the trucks, the dump trucks were really big. They were probably 16 to 20 square yard trucks. Big trucks. And man, I'm guessing it took us 2 months to move that dirt. And if I had to guess, that's maybe not even a quarter of the dirt. And a lot of that involved dozers and leveling and packing some stuff. There's a lot more to putting in a road than just moving the dirt out and throwing a road down. But so I don't know. It would take you a lot of time to construct something like an Emerald Mound. They tell you that it is got my mama walking out here. What was I saying? They tell you that this just kind of happened over time. I'm doing a video. You want to come get in the video? I'll talk to you in a minute. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, it would have took a long time. They just say over time this mound kind of happened. I've speculated were there mounds already there. Maybe there were 2 mounds and they just joined the 2, and kept adding to it. Either way, dude, the way that they would try to tell us these things got there, with, I guess in the history that we've been given is, what, they didn't even have shovels. I don't know, man. It's just weird trying to weave through all of this mess, dude. And I'll use this term right here. This is weird. Like when you're trying to get through the history of this country or the history of the world, like these buildings, any of this stuff, man, there are layers and layers of lies, mounds of lies. What I'm kind of considering is, you're looking at, I was looking at Easter Island on Google Earth, and man, that is crazy to look at. Some of those sculptures and things that are out there on that island, wild stuff, So what I'm really trying to figure out is there's different timelines in the Bible, where God comes and destroys burns things up, floods things out, and I think you got Jesus coming and he does his burning event. Still there. I'm not coming off of that one, okay? He did what he said he was going to do in their day. So, but I mean, I don't like being lied to, I don't, and so I'm just feverishly running through some of this stuff. Just trying to figure it out, So what I found was this is what farmers dismantled the mounds, breaking them down and started plowing. I mean, I read some of this stuff, like, hey, let's just plow this mound down. I didn't know any of that happened. I thought they were all kind of kept intact, was my general idea about the mounds. But yeah, they went through and dismantled some, I guess. Most of the smaller ones lost or destroyed. Let's see. There's a crazy poem I found by William Cullen Bryant. Maybe the poem was wrote in 1832, The Prairies. Maybe I'll come back and do one on that. But, man, I just feel like there's a lot of esoteric meaning in that poem. I've even got a picture of him doing the little Mason sign gesture, like Jason Jack was getting all these guys doing that. And yeah, I mean, I guess he was kind of in that camp of people. But he wrote another poem, Give Us the Ballad. And Martin Luther King Jr. quotes this, and the quote, I'm not sure at what point he does this, but the quote was, "Truth crushed to the earth will rise again." I mean, does that sound familiar? Is that something that happens at the beginning of the little season? Or is that something that happens at the end of the little season? Quite possibly they're talking about, Phoenix rising and all that symbology there. So I thought that was kind of crazy. I'm going to skip that one. Let's see. All right, where do I want to go? All right, I'll talk about this guy here. All right, William Henry Harrison. Now, this guy was some kind of leader in the army, guard, or general, or whatever. He gets famous. He goes up against these Indians, and I don't have this wrote down, but the name of the chief that he fought and took out, the name of the chief was Chief Tippecanoe. I don't know what we really can believe, you guys, but he actually got the nickname Tippecanoe. And this guy goes on to be the president of the United States, and I don't know what his Mason status was, if there was any or not. Because he says some really interesting stuff. I want to read that to you. But yeah, he dies 31 days after inauguration, apparently pneumonia. He spoke too long at the inauguration. He just wouldn't stop talking, I guess. I don't know. Well, anyway, during a discourse on the Aborigines of the Valley of the Ohio, he quotes this: "We first learn from the extensive country covered by their remains that they were a numerous people. Secondly, that they were congregated in considerable cities. Thirdly, that they, unquote," and this is me, it was too long to write, "they were agricultural people that lived closely and didn't depend on hunting for food." So, as I'm kind of looking at it, there was a civilization here. Now, they found the red man here or whatever, that's what they say. But, man, some of this stuff just was not taught to us in history class, is what I'm thinking here, or what I'm seeing for sure. through some of my research of. So they stumbled upon something, and there was nobody there. I mean, that's just the best way to say it. When they got there, they were looking at civilizations, massive civilizations, and this is the lie. They tried to give credit to the Indians for all this, but there was massive civilizations that looked like they were just abandoned. And all they're doing is talking about, I don't know what those cities look like, but these guys got recorded saying this stuff, so we're just looking at it. And none of that was taught to me in school. And I loved history, dude. I paid attention in 7th grade and on. I loved hearing about it. I wish I'd have just went on to study way more of it, So now we're just having to redo history lessons. Let's see. This is going to get pretty interesting, man. Stay with me. So DeWalt Clinton, 1823. I think he was like a senator or something, maybe in New York. I don't know, but he did his discourse. A record engraved on stone or metal could be found in the mounds. Now this is talking about the mystery relics that came out of Michigan. And there's a book by Henrietta Mertz. It's called The Mystic Symbol. Man, you look at some of that stuff. They had relics that had the Bible stories on them, and the relics were cut out with precision, like laser cut stuff. Okay, they're lying about this land here, y'all. No doubt, lying about this land. So, all right, I'm fixing to jump off into it now, and I've heard Toad House say this a few times, but I really haven't went to study it. But what was one of the fruits, that what's the guy's name? Squanto. he's got an interesting story, old Squanto. He gets shipped back to Europe like twice, and then he comes over but it was corn. So there are fruit that went from America. I guess maybe, I don't know exactly what time all these fruits started making their way to the Europeans, and at what time this stuff came from Europe and Asia to America. But I want to read off just a few of the things that I see. Squash. This is all in America. They didn't have this stuff over there. All right? This is what they're telling us. Pumpkins, turkeys, peanuts, potatoes. Well, who's famous? Who gets credit for all the pasta? Italians. Well, America shipped tomatoes to Europe, and there, one of the last ones, I'll say this one, tobacco. They weren't smoking anything over there. I guess we had all the good smoke and everything in America. Funny stuff. But corn, okay, corn didn't make it over to Europe till 1500s, 1600s. I don't believe the dates, the history that they give us. I want to read you something. I'm fixing to get off into it, man. This is truly crazy. But let me read this one. And I started out in my New King James, and when my New King James starts twisting words around, it's like critical points. They do not want you to put these things together. So I started out in my New King James reading this, and I realized that they changed the word. I got a bug on me. They changed the word. And so all this, when Jacob has the dream in Egypt, my mind was just fixated on like wheat. They went through this 7-year endeavor of raising all this wheat and storing it up for the 7 years of famine that was coming on the land of Canaan and Egypt. Wheat. But let me read Acts 7 and Stephen's right before he's getting stoned, what he has to say about it. Oh, this is long time ago. You know, they got Egypt on the map over there, right? So this is, sorry, I just put my eyes on it. 7:11, now there came a dearth over all the land of Egypt and Canaan, and great affliction, and our fathers found no sustenance. But when Jacob heard that there was wheat, no, corn in Egypt, that's interesting, ain't it? He sent out our fathers first. All right. I got a couple more places I want to read, and I'm going to shut her down, man. Oh. So, Egypt. Now, it's been on my mind for a while. If you overlay, if you overlay Egypt, current Egypt, with a map of the U.S., what you'll find is the Mississippi looks like the Nile. This has been my thought. I think I saw Casey do this on his channel a while back, and I watched a few other things, but and I just went into the Old Testament and I was trying to figure out who Egypt was, and I'm still going to do that because I was reading in Isaiah and I was starting to find some really neat stuff about that. But what I can tell you, I did not understand this. This is man, we really got to do some research, you guys, because Egypt is not, modern day Egypt is not mentioned at all in the New Testament. There's not a letter written to the Church of Egypt. There were no disciples sent. Nobody went to Egypt, okay? It's not in there. Now, where it does pop up is interesting. All right, very interesting. All right, I want to read. And I think it's Luke that also does this. I think all this is tying in for me. Man, hold on just a second. Okay, I'm just going to read it right here straight through, man. This is Matthew chapter 2. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, I don't know where I got Philadelphia, of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. And when Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they had saw in the east, check this out, went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. What star was that? Maybe up there where them lights are coming from. Oh, so when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and be there be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of by the Lord the prophets. Out of Egypt I called my son. I'm gonna pause it again, I think. Yep, we'll pause it. All right, so all the other passages are all the other references to Egypt in the New Testament are talking about old Egypt. But then right there in Matthew, you have them the Lord telling Joseph to take the child and his mother to Egypt. And this is you have to go through all the book, no churches in Egypt, nothing. But you go down to Revelation chapter 12, and that's where you see this story being played out right here. I mean, it reads perfectly, I think, right there, where, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. Let's see. Yep. Fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 2,260 days. That's I can't remember exactly. It's 360 days, 3.5 years or something. Yep, 3.5 years. And I don't really want to read all of it. I don't think. I mean, y'all know it. And so I guess what I've kind of been thinking about, and I haven't really heard anybody say anything about, is the flood that the serpent spewed out of his mouth after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. And the earth helps the woman, swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So, I mean, I don't know, man, it's like, what is all this mud? Was this, and there's another scripture, I don't know if it's Isaiah, it's in Isaiah 40, 41, 42, I don't know when this, maybe not, but, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will set up a standard against him. And, it would be great if in the comments, to those that are watching this, there's just maybe some missing pieces that I have, but I have definitely been wondering about that. So, I mean, I guess I'll wrap it up right there. But that was really interesting about Egypt, and I'm just going to continue to study. I would eventually like to go see Emerald Mound and just put my feet on it. I think if we're protesting anything, we probably need to be protesting what's up under these mounds, We're protesting stuff that don't even matter, man. Just walking around like dumb sheep here. But anyway, you guys, love y'all. Like I said, maybe I can get some laptop presentations put together. That way y'all can kind of get some visuals or something. But love y'all. Blessings. All right, take care. Bye.